Which Bible translation is best or most correct? I love that question, Zach.
Yeah, that's an important question, too, because we got a lot of good Bible translations out there. And so let me just give you a little translation philosophy so you understand different ways that different translators translate the Bible. There are word-for-word translations where they take the Hebrew of the Old Testament and the Greek of the New Testament, and they try to get it as close as they can, word for word. There are thought-for-thought translations where they'll take like a phrase and they'll try to translate it in a way that's a little bit easier to read, a little bit easier to understand.
So give an example of a word-for-word translation.
So a word-for-word translation, probably the most popular one out today, is the English Standard Version. And it's a great translation. It's very nuanced. If you've read it, I read it personally, it can also be a little stilted and a little bit difficult to understand and follow along with because the way Hebrew grammar is and Greek grammar is, it's a little bit different from English grammar. And so we've got
New International Version is also...
New International Version is kind of between word for word and thought for thought. We use a translation of the Bible here at Concordia called the Christian Standard Bible. And again, that's kind of between word for word and thought for thought. Thought for thought translations are a little bit easier to understand, and those are really helpful too. That's why we use the CSB, because it's a little bit easier to understand. Then there are what are known as paraphrases. And paraphrases are when you take lots of translations and you kind of look at them and you try to pull the best from all of them and put them together into a paraphrase. And so my basic guidance is generally this. If you're new to the Bible, try to find a good thought-for-thought translation, kind of like the New Living Translation. That's a good thought for thought.
Yep.
If you're a little bit more seasoned in the Bible, you can go with something like the Christian Standard Bible. The NIV actually does some things well, does some things not so well. And then if you really want to dig in, and if you don't mind being confused and asking lots of questions, go with something like the English Standard Version.
Well, and that's a great point. The reason that we're doing this Ask Anything is we really want to make the Bible accessible. We want your faith to be something that's not mysterious and unapproachable. There are mysteries that we don't have the answers to. But we want you to be able to ask questions and engage with God's Word. And so you can always ask us if you have questions about things. And Pastor Zach gets questions literally every week. But the thing about God's Word is we want you to be in the Word. And so you need to choose a translation. And one of the great things about the internet is if you go to Bible.com, you can take a look at all of the different translations and try them out. My personal favorite just to read, just in the morning when I'm reading, is the NLT. I love the New Living Translation. But I also enjoy the New International Version, the CSB. Sometimes I even use the Message, which is a kind of a complete paraphrase perspective. But here's the idea. Every Bible translation has strengths, and every Bible translation has weaknesses. So don't think you're going to find a panacea, a perfect Bible translation that answers all the questions and solves all of the translation problems. Just get into the Word. Choose a translation that you find easy to read and easy to understand most of the time, and then know you're going to ask questions and engage with other kinds of issues, and you've got lots of support and lots of people to help you.